Hello, everyone. How are you doing tonight? I am so glad to see you. It is Wednesday. It is May the 22nd, and it's around 7 o'clock on the East Coast. And you have tuned in to the Power of Transformation broadcast. And I'm your hostess. I am Dr. Paula Obie. And I'm so glad to see you tonight. We're going to have what I call a heart to heart with Dr. Paula. I haven't done these in a while. I've been really busy with my wonderful guests and I've enjoyed them. But tonight I just wanted to take the time to share my heart on something that's really just there for me to share with you, something inspirational. And I think you're going to be blessed by it. I know you are. So, of course, I'm asking you to do the same thing that we do every week. We want our friends and our families and all of our Facebook users to join us. So we're going to text them. We're going to use our phone, text, tag. And if you have a moment, just give them a call. Let them know that the Power of Transformation broadcast is on with Dr. Paula and they don't want to miss it. All right. And when I tell you to do it, I do the same thing. And we're going to do it now. I'm going to see you in just a few seconds. See you soon. Take care. Hello, and we're back. Listen, I have something that I want to talk to you about, and it's a little serious. So I want you to go grab your favorite beverage. I want you to get in a comfortable chair, and I want you to relax. Why? Because I want to talk to you about a topic that I discussed last night in our Bible study, and I feel led to just talk about it a little bit more tonight because I feel like it's something that really we all have to deal with at some point. Now, of course, the Bible study last night was based on biblical principles, and I'll bring a few of those in. But we want to talk about that green eyed monster, jealousy and envy. Now, as I say to you when I start talking about these topics, I am not a psychologist, and neither am I a psychiatrist. But I have something to say about a lot of topics of which I've been involved in. And I have a voice, and we're going to use it. I really don't know if I were to take a poll, I'd say that there's several of us who will say I'm impacted or have been impacted by jealousy. I'm impacted or have been impacted by envy. And just to make things really, really, really clear, the Bible calls it a sin. However, it's a feeling. And many times, and this is really important for you to hear, that feeling and those emotions, which can be targeted, to someone who maybe has something, or let's just say somebody walks into the room, right? And they start talking about how wonderful, in the things in their lives. And I'm going to use this as an example, their brand new Mercedes or whatever. I'm using that as an example, brand new BMW. Let's say it's a brand new car. And maybe at that point, you won't say anything, but you'll feel something. So my question to you is, what do you think really causes us to really feel badly when someone else has something? Is it because maybe we feel like we can't get it? Maybe we feel like they're valued more because of that thing. What if it's a promotion? Of course, most of the time promotions come with additional funding. What if it's an opportunity? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud as I'm making it personal, because all of those things have a tendency at times to make us not feel really as happy for that person. It could be a family member, it could be a coworker, it can even be a church member. So what is going on with us? The going on with us could be what's in our heart. I heard somebody say today, because we were talking about this, that many times they feel as if things don't work out for them as the way they want. And if they're having that feeling of things not working out and someone else comes along and they're just talking, they're not bragging, they're just sharing, you might feel not worthy. Well, let me tell you something. You are. Hmm. And if we start there, let's just start with where you are and what you are and how you are. Let's use that as our springboard. You are worthy, even if you don't have those same things. You are wonderful, even if you don't have the car, the whatever else. You are still amazing, but you have to really get that mirror. And even though it's not easy, it's important. Let me tell you what the Bible says about envy. It's amazing. If you got a moment, go to Proverbs 14 and 30. And you know what it says? A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Doesn't that explain why sometimes if you're sharing something and someone is not happy for you, that you get this feeling that they're overdoing it? Or you've been in that place where you're reacting? What can you do about that? What power do you need other than God coming into your life? What do you need? First of all, I believe it really depends on your self-worth. Uh-huh. I think at that particular time when an opportunity is presented or someone says they received something, I think when at that point we react negatively because we might feel that it's taking something away from us. Maybe you also wanted the promotion, so you feel a little bit rejected. Maybe you also wanted that type of vehicle and couldn't afford it. I don't know. But there are times when we have to just pull away the layers of the onion and just look at ourselves and say, why is this bothering me? Have you ever done that? Oh my God, I've done it so many times and it's happened to me. And I'm like, why is this bothering me? Why am I putting so much energy into this? What is going on? And when you do that self-assessment, you may need some help. And if you do, we have a really good friend who's been actually a guest on our show who is into a psychologist and a counselor and a Christian counselor, and she can really help you. All you have to do, and I'm going to place up my email a little later on in the show. You can email me at obpaula@gmail.com, and I will forward that email right on to her, and she'll help you. But I want to pull it back because, I want to talk personally. If something is going to rotten the bone, there's no way you're going to feel good about it. But let me tell you what you owe yourself. You owe yourself the opportunity to transform. We all feel things. We all go through changes. We all react. It is not a foreign emotion. But what we have to do when we react is go back to what I said just 2 minutes ago. Why am I feeling this way? When I know I work hard, I can get that if I want to. If it's something that money can buy. But sometimes we're jealous of things that money can't buy. I believe that it is an opportunity for us to examine ourselves. I think we need at that particular point to put a pause. That's what I've done. Let's put a pause in this and ask yourself the question that I've asked myself. What is wrong with you? What's bothering you? Not in a negative, ugly way, but in a very gentle and a very loving, what's wrong with you? Why is this bothering you? Why are you so upset about it? So that we can get to the heart of the matter, because you deserve to be at peace. And if you are in a jealous place, you're not going to be at peace. And that's what we were talking about last night when we were looking at it from a biblical perspective, when we were studying the life of Saul, King Saul, and David. King Saul lost his role because of his disobedience. And then David was the one who was appointed king. So once David was appointed king, even before he was appointed king, Saul had some issues with him. And I say that a lot because I've been around some people who they see you, you know that the temperature in the room has changed. And you wonder what's going on. And I ask myself, should I react? Now, I'm the kind of person that'll just look at you. I won't say much, but I'll look at you. But let me tell you what I feel down in my heart. It's okay for you to admit that it's bothering you. It's okay for you to admit you might have some issues and you might be a little jealous and you might be a little envious. But what is not okay for you to do is to continue to beat yourself up and put yourself in a position where you can't move forward. That's not okay. God has a plan. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, saith the Lord, plans to prosper you and not bring you harm." We need to help God by talking to him about what's going on in our lives. So if you're having a problem in any area, I know for me, I have learned to just go to him in my language and just say, I'm really having a hard time with this. This is not going well for me. I feel, can I use my words for a second? I feel some kind of way about this. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm sad about it or I'm mad. At that particular time, I'm just as honest as I can be. And when you are honest, it opens up the door for healing. And it's not always one prayer. Sometimes it's more than a prayer. And you know what else I do? I journal. So if it's really, really, really bothering me, I'm going to write it down. I am learning that my peace is really important. Do you know that the word peace in the King James Version is mentioned over 479 times? Do you know that Jesus would meet people and say, peace be with you? Leave them and say, peace be with you. Now, if you think about the scripture that I read about envy rotten in the bone, there is no peace. And you're walking around in turmoil, and there's nothing wrong with you taking a moment and saying, I just want to be healed from this. What if you are blocking your own way? Well, it happens. It does happen. So I want to talk about one type of envy that I don't have time to talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about one of them because I believe that it's an inspirational kind of conversation. This is what it says. Benign envy. This type of jealousy inspires us to pursue something similar and ultimately improve ourselves. What is it saying? If you see that someone has something, maybe that you want, or a thing or a situation, use it as a springboard to improve yourself. Use it as an opportunity for your self-improvement, and it will tie directly into your self-worth. We have YouTube University, and YouTube University is free. And there's nothing you cannot learn on YouTube University. But I believe that when you switch your mind, right, and transform your mind, that's when you stop being so envious, because you realize that you can turn that into an opportunity for you. Listen. It gives us an example. It says, for example, if a networking acquaintance lands a public speaking opportunity, That might give you a boost you need to put yourself out there for a opportunity of your own. In other words, if you can pull back for just a minute, look at where they are and say, I can do that. I can do more. And when that happens, then you get a plan. What do I do? Maybe you need to study more. Maybe you need a coach. But in that attitude, and you mix it with prayer, then you're taking that jealousy and that envy and you're using it as a springboard and you're using it as a plan to move you forward. And that's what we want. You may not be able to stop it on a dime, but look at what you're doing. Now you've got that more positive energy channeling itself to say, okay, yes, maybe they're, glowing over there, but what steps do I need to glow? What do I need to do for me? And once you start thinking, what do I need to do for me to improve? Then the improvement plan locks into that power of transformation, because that's when you start renewing your mind. It works. It really works. I'm a witness. Now let's compare this. I said I wasn't going to go to the other one, but let's do it because I feel like we're having a good conversation. There's another envy called malicious envy. Listen to this. As the name implies, this type of jealousy isn't productive. Instead, we have a negative view of the person we're envious of, might act unreasonably toward them, and even experience pleasure when they experience something negative. So that's when you're looking at them going, with that Inuit kind of tone. And if they fail, you're going to be the first on the phone. And I'm going to tell you something that you might do, and you may not know that you're doing it. You might decide to put stumbling blocks in their way, and you're not even aware of it. What does that do for you? The Bible says you reap what you sow. So when the time comes around for you to harvest what someone calls the crop, you may not be so happy with what happens. So let's focus our attention on the benign envy. Because the benign envy and the benign jealousy, because we have to admit that we have it, that might be an opportunity for you to stop. I remember some things happening years ago with me. And I said to myself, I am not moving from this spot until I figure out how I got here. That's a little bit of a different story, but I'm going to tell you, I kept saying, how did I get here? And I'm not going to make another decision until I take some time to focus. And the beach is my favorite place. So I drove to the beach and I walked the shore because I didn't want whatever it was in me. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I wanted to heal. And if you've ever been in a place where you are jealous, envious, it's an unrest. It's not an easy place. You have no peace. You're just tormented. Saul in the Bible, he never got over it. He never, ever got over the feelings that he had for David, took it to his grave. I don't want us to be that way. I want us to give God a chance. This particular broadcast is based on Romans 12:2. That said that we can be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So we're going to take a spiritual approach and we're going to take an honest approach. Yes, someone might have something that you desire. However, stop. If you really want it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to figure out a way to get it. The problem is when you think that you can't. You probably can. Someone's asking, are you sure? Oh, yeah. Well, you can at least start. Is it really what you want? Or is it something on the inside that's unhealed that won't allow you to be happy for someone else? Yeah, we're in the self-examination mode here. We've got the spotlight turned on us. We want to definitely use this as an opportunity of a lifetime, not to rot the bones. That's stealing from your life. That's stealing from your mind, stealing from your happiness. Let's look at this opportunity as a time to really blow it out of the park. I'm using all these words because I have been in a place where I felt badly. You need to be happy for someone so that they can be happy for you. It's your healing time. Anything that's going to rot to the bone is going to be so detrimental to you and maybe the other person. But I believe, really, seriously, come to the mirror, put the phone to your ear. I believe it's going to damage you more than it damages them. I believe it's going to take so much more away from you than you think. Why? Because I've seen it happen. I have. So let's pause. Pause. May 22nd, 2024. Right now, if you're feeling those feelings, admit it. And we go to God in prayer. God, I'm feeling jealousy towards. You finish the sentence. I'm feeling envious because you finish the sentence. And I don't want to feel this way. So take the godly way of doing things and then do yourself a favor. Go seek some counseling. Get to the root of your problem. It may be that a couple of sessions, I can't tell you how many, will help you along with the godly path to get yourself into a healthier spot. I just have this feeling that jealousy and envy really ruins a lot more than we think it does. And if we can get a handle on it, I believe that we're going to be a lot healthier. I'm going to give you a few statistics, just one, because this article really talks about jealousy at work. And I thought this was interesting. It said a study from the University of California, San Diego discovered that 79% of women and 74% of men reported in their survey reported feelings of envy towards someone in their workplace in the previous year. So yes, it happens. And it says that jealousy seems to be more common among younger people. We're talking about jealousy at work, with 80% of people younger than 30 saying they had experienced envy within the past year. Envy at work. It seems that occupational envy peaks near middle age. Career jealousy rose from 22% among young adults in their 20s to 43% among participants in their 40s. And then it dropped to 36% among participants who were age 50 and older. I translate. Maybe in the beginning, if you're in the workplace, you're just so zealous. And if you don't get something, you take it personally. So you're a little envious. But then as you get older, you start experiencing some life. And your experiences and all your emotions, they start to grow a little bit. And you realize, okay, it wasn't as serious as I thought. You know, you're younger, everything's an issue. By the time you spend some time in life and in the workplace, hey, maybe you realize I'm not wasting my time on that. I have better things. I have other things that are just as important. So jealousy in the workplace is no different from jealousy in the family. It's no different from jealousy in the church. After Bible study, I asked the question, how detrimental do you think envy and jealousy is in our church environment, any church environment? And why? And boy, did we ever have a conversation. So we're not here to pretend. I'm not here to pretend that I'm perfect and I don't feel them, because that's not true. But I am here to tell you that just like everyone else, I realize that it was definitely tied into something that I was feeling about myself. Maybe I was feeling unworthy. Maybe I had some image issues. Maybe I had some self worth issues. Maybe I was remembering conversations before, but I'm willing to own it because once you own your truth, it's going to set you free. And I'm going to tell you what I am willing to do. I'm willing to believe that the God who created me and the God that created you, when I go to him and I talk to him about things, that's my way of connecting with the source that's more powerful than me and you. Sometimes, and I pause, the envy and jealousy may come from, let's say, a goal that you were trying to reach. You've been trying to reach it for years. Somebody walks into your home or walks into your office or your family, you have a family occasion, and they're talking about how they've reached the goal. Are you happy for them? That's where we are. How do you get happy for them? Well, let me tell you how I do it. I go, well, you know what, God? My time's coming. I may not be there, but my time's coming, and I've got something myself to be happy about. Everybody has something to be happy about, so let them have their moment. Let them have the joy of what they've been able to achieve. You then take the benign envy, use it as a springboard. Have you ever been in the circle where people have to, have something to say? What did you do? And what did you do? And some people are like, well, I did nothing. And they feel like, that's like, oh my God, I did nothing. Well, how about this? I did nothing and I enjoyed it. Different conversation. I did nothing, but I had a great time doing nothing. They may look at you funny. I'm like, no, I enjoyed every moment of that nothing. Then that could release some of the jealousy or envy that you may feel when they give an entire list of all the things they're doing. I spent time with myself. I did some wonderful things. I had some self-care. I'm shifting the atmosphere. I'm transforming by the renewing of my mind. I then may go back and develop a different plan to reach my goal. But in this conversation, we're trying to get rid of the jealousy and reduce the jealousy and the envy feeling that could shackle you for a long time. And you don't deserve that. And neither do I. Once you start talking about it, it's going to start, that little green-eyed monster is going to, not have as much power anyway, because I feel like once you're holding on the inside, once you feel like you can't talk about it, then it's powerful. But once you start talking to God, once you start talking to a therapist, you're going to tap into the good of who you are. You remember God says that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, that he created you a little lower than the angels. So try this the next time. You're not feeling as good about different things. Somebody's saying something and you haven't reached that goal and the feelings of jealousy and envy are surfacing. Try this. Okay? Let's just do a little role play. Somebody just told me about blah, blah, blah that they did. I'm starting to feel, it's it rumbles in your stomach. It just starts in your stomach. Once you are acutely aware that it's there, try this. God said that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. He created me a little lower than angels. Jeremiah 29. See, what am I doing? I'm using the scriptures to help me. You might find some affirmations, and that's going to start the process. It may not be the end all. It may not be but it starts you moving towards being able to think about what you and who you are, what you have and who you are, versus what they have and who they are. Have you ever had somebody, and I just thought about this, have you ever heard somebody say, oh, their title is blah, 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 blah. And, they're the big dogs. How does that feel when someone says, oh my God, they're the, they're the higher ups and okay, but do you realize that so are you? You may not have the title, but they're not in any place where you can't be if you want it to be. Now, you might have to work hard to get there, but they have nothing over you. If their personality is such they can talk to anybody, you can learn to do that. If they're trustworthy and dependable, you can learn to do that. You can do it. Because again, going back to my scriptures, the Bible says that with God, all things are possible. In my mind, what it needs to have is a new perspective. Is it going to take a lot of work to get this jealousy to a place where you can function? Of course. Is it going to take a lot of work to get the envy in a place where you can function? Of course. I'm not belittling it. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm not saying it's not a problem that we don't have. I'm just saying that you and I are more than conquerors. And we deserve to live in peace, not pieces. So as this train is getting ready to turn and is getting ready to come into the station, I want you to get a plan. I want you to examine yourself the next time you feel that little monster just raise his ugly head. And I want you to get a plan to take a pencil, if you can, or a pen, and a piece of paper or a sticky note. And I want you to start jotting down all the wonderful things that you are able to do. Because once you jot down all the things you're able to do and all the things that God has done for you, I guarantee you that jealousy will have to take a rest. That envy would have to take a rest. It might come back later, but right then, it'll have to move away because now you're thinking about, no, this is who I am. I may not have that, I may not do, but this girl, this is who I am. And you can do the same thing. These are all the wonderful things God has done for me. Can you believe it? And let me tell you something. I use this little story. Well, this is actually true. Sometimes when I'm talking about how wonderful things are, and I look up in someone's face and I see that look, I just keep talking. I don't even stop. And by the time I get through being animated, they may leave the room, but I don't care. I'm only here by the grace of God. Everything I have is because God gave it to me. So I'm going to enjoy life as much as I can, trying to push through the jealousy and the envy. So again, if you need some help, I'm telling you, God is good at strengthening us and removing things that aren't good. You need to have a conversation with him at as many times as you need. He's a great listener. He has the power to heal you. Journal. Get you a journal. Write it down. Let's get this out. Don't keep it bottled inside of you. And if you need some help, send me an email. obiepaula@gmail.com. We have an amazing counselor who is actually on our show, Rakita Brown. Good girl. I'll just forward that email right on to her. And I'm being serious. We deserve to live in peace. We deserve to be happy for other people. Envision this. Every time you're so jealous, every time you're so envious, it stops you from moving forward and doing what God has for you to do. Aren't you tired of that? Aren't you ready to keep it moving? I know I'm ready. So when it hits me as this train is coming into the station, and when it hits you, think about the benign envy. Use it as an opportunity to raise the bar on you. Raise the bar on your thoughts. Raise the bar on your activities. I guarantee you, with God on your side, a little counseling, and raising the bar, you're going to feel different and you're going to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You're going to say, I have no right to be feeling this way because God's been really good to me and He can bless me the way He can bless other people. So now the train's coming into the station, the Power of Transformation train. And you know what we do? We say the same thing whether I'm talking to you from the heart or whether I have a guest. We say what I believe and know to be true. You have to trust the process. Trust means believing. Trust means it's going to work out no matter what. Trust means I'm going to take a step forward in order for the power of transformation to do its perfect work in your life. And you serve a powerful God. You don't have to be jealous of anybody because God, with God, all things are possible. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Take care.